Are you struggling with your weight in menopause? Have you noticed that you have more belly fat? You feel bloated and just kind of gross most of the time? And what about your hormones? Do you notice that sometimes they are maybe just a little bit more dysregulated than usual? And you're having a hard time kind of pinpointing what exactly it is because, I mean, you know you're in menopause, you know your hormones all over the place, but you're still kind of going, man, what else is happening to me? And what about control? Are you trying so hard to control whatever and whoever because you are feeling out of control? If any of those questions kind of hit home for you, then I really think you're going to enjoy today's conversation because I'm going to be touching on all three of those in just a little bit more depth with you. I wanted to focus on those three topics in particular because these are things that I hear often from, friends, family, my female clients, and quite honestly, myself. These are three of my own personal struggles. And as you probably have already figured out, I know that I have already said it on this channel, menopause exacerbates everything. So maybe some of these things were already going on prior to menopause, and now they are at a 12 on a 10-point scale. Everything just feels larger and grander during menopause. So I want to touch on them. But before I do, I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for stopping in. If this is your first time finding me, I'm Mary. And I've got a little bit of housekeeping I want to do and a disclaimer. So first of all, housekeeping. The reason that this video looks different. So if you have been following me all along, if you have watched all of my videos or maybe just a handful of my videos, you know that my background is usually completely different. I typically film these videos in my office. This video is being filmed in my home office, which has terrible sound quality. So I apologize greatly. And that's why I have this blanket in my lap. No, I'm not cold, even though it is technically November 17th in Louisiana. It's not cold. So I have the blanket and some pillows to help absorb some sound because I really don't have anything like in here other than some really thin curtains. And my office has carpet, it has rugs, it has curtains, kind of has all the things. So anyway, that is that. So that's one part of the housekeeping. Second thing is there's a really good reason why I wasn't able to film yesterday, Sunday, in my office and do the videos that I normally do. And it's because of this. I just completed, finished up, uploaded. It's officially out there. I wrote an ebook. Yep, I wrote an ebook and I'm so excited. So never written an ebook before. I do write for a local publication. I'm a columnist for a monthly publication here in my town, but I've never done anything that's out there, like for the world to find. And when I decided I wanted to do an ebook, I told myself to keep it real simple, to talk about a conversation that I am very well versed in, and to make it just kind of short and sweet. So what I created is a 30-day pocket guide. And in this pocket guide, I give you 30 ways for you to better manage your anxiety. Now, it's not focused on women, nor is it focused on menopause. So this little ebook is really for anybody who struggles with anxiety. But it's quick and easy read. It's less than 10,000 words. It's pretty straightforward and self-explanatory. And it's my guinea pig. So it is just my first rodeo, as they say. It took me a lot longer to figure out the tech part. Writing the content comes fairly easy for me. I've been writing for a few years now, so that part has gotten a little bit easier and better for me. But the technology, Oh man, y'all, I'm just so grateful for my husband. He works in IT, so he has been a lifesaver in figuring all of this PDF and JPEG and zip drive and all the stuff. But it's done. It is officially done. Because I was wrapping up all the editing yesterday, I just did not have time to do this video, but I'm doing it now, even though it's late on Monday. I'm getting it out, and there you go. There you go. Okay, so that is my exciting news, my housekeeping. Okay. The third part of a little bit of housekeeping is this. I am on day 47 of a 55-day challenge. You may or may not have seen my shorts, and it has been so much fun. It took me about 25 to 26 days to really get going, but once I did, man, it has just been amazing. I more than doubled my subscribers in less than a month. My subscriber number is still relatively low, but I'm not focusing on the low number. I am focusing on the fact that I more than doubled my subscribers in less than a month. That's what I'm choosing to focus on. And because so far the 55-day challenge appears to be a positive hit, I'm going to do another challenge. But this challenge is going to be way shorter and a lot different. And so here it is. On December 12th this year, 2025, I'm going to do my own version of the 12 days of Christmas. But I'm going to do it with a twist and a little bit of tongue in cheek, but it's still going to provide a lot of value for you. So stay tuned. I'm going to tell you more as time gets near, but just know that once my 55-day challenge is complete, I will then start vamping up for my next challenge, which will only be 12 days, but it's still going to provide you with just great little nuggets of information, things that you can utilize in that moment. And spoiler alert, it does have to do with the holiday season and may or may not have to do with dealing with family and stress. But that's all I'm going to say right now. So you got to stay tuned to learn more about it. That is all for my housekeeping. A quick little disclaimer. So some of the information that I'm going to chat with you about in today's conversation is about nutrition, nutrition, but also weight loss, specifically the GLP-1 drugs. So I need you to know that I am not medically trained. I am not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. I'm not a PA. I'm not a dietitian. None of that is my specialty. I am, once again, a licensed counselor and a woman in her 50s who is dealing with all the menopausal symptoms. So it's really important that you consult your doctor, your team of care, whoever you see, dietitians, counselors, etc., before you make any changes. What I'm going to be chatting with you about is simply my observation, my suggestion, part of my journey and my story. So it's really, really important that you do that, because unfortunately, sometimes we're all guilty of watching YouTube videos or following people on social media, and Jane Smith says to buy this such and such, and next thing excuse me, next thing we know, we're all out there buying whatever Jane Smith tells us, whether it's good for us or not, but we're just so excited because that is what Jane Smith said. I'm totally making up, and there's no Jane Smith. I don't think so. So super important that you just keep that in mind. All right, so let's go ahead and just dive right into this makeshift impromptu video. So the 3 points, again, are going to be about like diet, weight during menopause, our hormones, right? What's going on with our hormones, and then that feeling of lack of control. So first of all, the weight. Full disclosure, I've never been obese in my life, but during menopause, I did gain 26 pounds. And although that's not, grossly overweight or, anything of just the magnitude that I know that a lot of people struggle with. It was still 26 pounds that wasn't on my body prior to. And as a result, I just felt really heavy, and just was not comfortable in my body anymore. And I'm pretty sure that if you're a woman in menopause, that you can absolutely relate to this. Gaining weight in menopause and the inability to lose weight, maybe the way that we did 10 years ago or 20 years ago, it becomes almost impossible. The estrogen is the culprit. She is the little heifer, as I call her. When estrogen is gone, when she is bottoming out, then you have all of these other hormones that are not being produced as they had been when we were in our 20s and our 30s and even our early 40s. And so as a result, the body, we create a lot of insulin resistance, and the body just like holds on to everything. And most of the added weight tends to be collected in our in our belly. And that is due to the insulin resistance. So when you get that little extra jiggle wiggle down here in the middle, more than likely that is a result of the insulin resistance. So I wanted to just chat about two different things. So I'm going to keep it real simple. I'm only going to give you two suggestions. And once again, these are only suggestions. So both of these absolutely can work for you to be healthier, to lose weight, and to just feel better, have a little bit more energy. We're talking about this added weight. So the first one is diet specific, and this has to do with eating a ketogenic diet. Now, hear me out for just a moment. Eating a ketogenic diet does not mean eating a bunch of cheese and bacon like most people want to clump it. Eating a ketogenic diet is eating a diet that is rich in whole foods, complete protein. It can be animal heavy based or it can be plant heavy based, but you really want to make sure you get complete protein, and complete protein has all Oh, hold that thought. Sorry about that. I'm going to keep that in. Complete proteins have all 9 essential amino acids, where fruits and vegetables typically don't contain all 9 of those amino acids. So I understand you might be a vegan or a vegetarian, totally fine. You can still go into ketosis with a plant-based ketogenic diet. But once again, if you're willing to, if you can, do your best to consume more of your animal proteins as well as some of your animal fats. The key with the ketogenic diet when it comes to losing weight is our ketones, is going into ketosis. And that is when our brain begins to burn fat instead of glucose. People think that you need carbohydrates to have energy. And while there is a little bit of truth to that, it's really not the truth. What is better for energy and burning is fat. So when you consume healthy fats, so if you're consuming like plant fat, you're going to be looking at like coconut oils, MCT oils. You're going to be looking at avocados. So things again in the plant world, I can't think of anything else right at the top of my head, but those are the two in the plant. And then of course animal, you have all the red meats and the chicken and the pork and all of those things. But when you eat a diet that is rich in these proteins and these fats, and you get into ketosis and you have your ketones in your brain is then burning the fat on your body as well as what you're eating. Now I'm going to pause here really quickly. If you do have significant fat to lose, if you begin a ketogenic diet, once again, after you consult it with your, doctor, dietitians, whoever you need to consult with. Once you begin it, if you do have a good deal of fat that you need to lose, you want to make sure that your diet consists of high protein, mid-fat and low carb. By keeping that fat mid to low, you're now allowing your body to burn its own fat first. And that's what you want to do. And that is that sweet spot, that key component to the ketogenic diet that most people don't talk about. Once again, it's not about consuming a whole bunch of bacon and cheese. While yes, that is allowed on the ketogenic diet, that's not what you want to focus on. If you want to lose weight using food, using specifically the ketogenic whole food diet, you want your protein to be above 100, right? You want to keep it really high. And then your fats low, probably like around 30%. And then carbohydrates also low, probably below, not 30%, sorry, 30 grams. Also really low, like below the 30 grams. By doing that, allowing your body to go into ketosis, that will help to burn off the fat and give you energy. It is a real thing, like it absolutely does happen. I can attest to it. So that's number one suggestion that I have for you. The second suggestion is also what I'm doing. So I'm actually kind of doing both of these, and I'll tell you why in just a moment. But the second suggestion is getting on a GLP-1 medication. I am currently taking compounded tirzepatide, and so far I have lost 15 pounds. So I have roughly about 10, 11 more pounds to go. Here is what I really want to stress about a GLP-1, especially tirzepatide. Tirzepatide is what is called a dual agonist. And a dual agonist simply means that tirzepatide binds to two receptors, the GLP-1 and the GIP. And that not only helps in weight loss, but it also helps with inflammation, which that has just been a game changer for me. It also helps with some of the brain fog, right? So you just overall feel so much better. And I'm really surprised by that. I started this medication to help me lose weight, but I did not realize all the other benefits that come from it. There are some heart health components from it, the brain health that I just mentioned to you, and then of course the weight loss and the decreasing inflammation. It helps with insulin, right? It kind of helps to regulate your glucose levels. And so it just does a lot more than the weight loss, which to me is such a bonus. Now, the reason I'm kind of doing a combination of the ketogenic as well as the medication is I'm not really sure why my body wasn't responding. I really don't know, to be perfectly honest with you. I don't have that answer, but what I can tell you is for about a year, I ate a sort of ketovore diet where it was really heavy on the animals, but a little bit on the plants. Very low carb, exercising all the time. And I guess my body wasn't getting into ketosis. I was not tracking my ketones. So that is my bad. If you're going to do the ketogenic diet properly, you need to track your ketones. You need to know what's going on. That really does help. And that was something that I did not do, that I failed to do. And so even though I still eat a mostly animal-based diet, adding in the GLP-1 medication has been a game changer for me. And in the beginning, I kind of struggled with that. I kind of felt like, oh gosh, am I being dishonest? Should I be telling people? I kind of was questioning it. But the reality is, you have to figure this out for yourself. Once you kind of get with, whoever's in your life as far as doctors or dietitians, once you kind of, talk to these people and just figuring out like what you need to do, then that's what you focus on. So if for you, a plant-based ketogenic diet plus a compounded tirzepatide or semaglutide, if that's what works for you, then do it. Absolutely do it. If the ketogenic diet by itself works beautifully for you and you're having tons of benefit and you don't need the GLP-1 medications, then don't do it. Or vice versa. If you don't want to eat that way and you just want to do the medication and do a different form of eating, then do that. You have to figure it out for yourself. But just know that these two things, either separate or together, can work very beautifully for you as long as you are being smart about any comorbidities you may have and any medication interactions that you might have. So there's that for the weight. Now the hormones. I want to talk to you specifically about hormone disruptors. So hormone disruptors are going to be various chemicals that are found in our products and in some of our foods that interrupt how our hormones are being produced in our body and our brain. So for example, if you have plugins, do me a favor and unplug them. Seriously, get rid of the plugins. They're so toxic. They really are. I know I sound kind of woo-woo and crunchy right now, but I'm telling you, if nothing else, just get rid of the plugins. I'm going to tell you what to do in their place. So things like the plugins, like the Glade plugins, the Febreze plugins, all of those, sprays, air fresheners, the things that hang in your car, those air fresheners, all of that have tons of chemicals that disrupt your hormones. The Diva cleaning, right, for the laundry, that Diva stuff, another one that will disrupt your hormones. And so to kind of like elaborate more on what I'm talking about when I'm saying like disrupting your hormones. So if you already know, okay, I'm in menopause, my hormones are all over the place, I feel kind of wonky and crazy. But then you also notice that sometimes it's a little bit harder. Sometimes things are just off a little bit more. Or maybe you're noticing that you are doing things like HRT, hormone replacement therapy. Maybe you're doing the pellets, or you're doing some other type of treatment with your gynecologist, and you feel like it's not working. So here's where I want you to pause. If this is you, if you are doing things like HRT, supplements, etc., and you're still having quite a big of a struggle with your hormones, then I need you to look around your environment and check out what are those things, what are those products that are in and around your home, your vehicle, that actually contain a lot of chemicals which are very toxic. And I mean, they're not going to kill you outside of ingesting them, right? I'm not trying to be, over dramatic, but they absolutely, positively are interrupting your hormones. And so the things to look for, besides the plugins that I've already mentioned, you want to look at your candles. What kind of candles do you have in your house? Are they homemade, natural, no added fragrances? I mean, like just natural fragrances like essential oils? Or is it the Yankee candle, right? Or is it the Scentsy? Like, what are your candles or fragrances that you have around your house? What perfumes or colognes are you consuming? What about your cleaning products? Do you use a lot of Clorox? Lysol, 401, do you use a lot of it? Are you constantly spraying it all over your countertops in your bathrooms? Are you constantly wiping down all your surfaces with Clorox wipes? I mean, look at your cleaning supplies. Going back to the air freshener in your car, what do you have in your car? Are you constantly using those little plugins that go into your air vents in your car, or again, hanging from your rearview mirror? You want to look at your hair products, like what type of hairsprays are you using, your makeup. All of these things can absolutely positively exacerbate your hormonal imbalances and disrupt it. So, once again, to drive this home, if you're doing all the things with HRT or pellets or supplements or other medications, if your doctor has you on some type of cream, if these things are being done and to you they're not working, this is when you must stop and do a sweep of your environment and identify what are those chemicals and what am I willing to get rid of. I am not asking you to get rid of all of it. I'm asking you to simply begin with one. Start with one thing and remove it from your environment and then see how you feel. And if you are the person that just has to have fragrances of some type, then I encourage you to look into natural fragrances, things like essential oils that actually derive from plants and flowers. Look at scents, fragrances that are literally from the earth. No, they're not going to be as potent as your Yankee Candle pumpkin spice or whatever. But yes, they do smell wonderful and they don't have all of those toxins and those chemicals. Be willing to just start with one thing and then slowly begin to X out the others. I can promise you, because I did this for myself about 10 years ago. Yeah, you're going to thank yourself. Your nose is going to thank you. Your brain is going to thank you. Like your hormones, all of it, it's going to thank you. All right, let's move into the very last point here. So control. That's a big one. A lot of people have control issues. I call myself a control freak in recovery. It's a crazy thing. It is just a crazy thing how we think that we must be in control. Whether it is our kids, our grandkids, our husbands, our best friend, our coworker, I don't know, like just kind of insert it. But here's my point that I want to make to you that I want you to take home, if nothing else. You only control two things. You control your thoughts and your behaviors. That's it. That is literally it. You don't control your feelings. You feel how you feel, but you don't control your feelings. You control how you respond to your feelings, i.e., behave, but you don't control your feelings. It is thoughts and it is behavior. And the more that you are willing to let go of your control and to only focus on those two things, the more you are willing to do that, the more freedom you will experience. If you've got a death grip on something, or you're trying to control your spouse in some way, when you loosen that grip, when you learn how to do this, surrender, it is so incredibly freeing. Like, so freeing. So my friend, I'm going to strongly encourage you today, challenge you to ask yourself, what are you trying to control and why? Who are you trying to control and why? And then ask yourself, am I willing to stop? Am I willing to surrender? Am I willing to let go and release? My hope is that you're saying yes. And I know it's scary. I know it's really scary to think that if you let go, you're going to be more out of control. But the opposite happens. Like literally the opposite happens. I like to use I don't know if it's an analogy or a metaphor. I apologize. I get those two meanings mixed up. But whatever, illustration. I like to use the illustration of a fenced in backyard. For some people, when they think about putting a fence in their backyard, they feel that it might be confining and it might take away some of their freedoms because, right, it has like this actual fence or gate. But the opposite actually happens. When you have no fence, nothing around, and your yard is wide open to your neighbors and anything and everything, it actually takes away your freedom because now you're dealing with, kids or people or dogs or, things like maybe walking in your yard or people seeing what you're doing. Not that you're doing anything crazy, but I don't know, maybe it's sunbathing or something. I'm kind of making things up. But when you put the fence in your backyard, right, when you fence it in, you now give yourself more freedom because now you don't have to worry about who's going to be walking in your yard or who's going to see you, right? So it kind of takes away some of those things and it actually provides the freedom. The control is the same way. When you learn how to let go and focus on what you can control, your thoughts and your behaviors, then that is when the freedom begins to take place. And it is an amazing feeling. As I said, I'm a control freak in recovery, truly. Being a therapist has been so eye-opening to me in so many ways. And one of them has being able to just let it go and just keep focusing on those two things. I just rinse and repeat all the time. And anytime I find myself wanting to grab control again, I'm like, what? Not going to do it. So focus on your thoughts, focus on your behaviors, be willing to let the rest go, and you will stop the feelings of feeling out of control. Like, it is a real thing. And if you don't believe me, just try it. What do you have to lose? Do it for 90 days. Do like a little 90-day trial and just see. See what that feels like. See what happens in that process. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. Seriously, like comment below and let me know. But I'm going to say that, no. I think I'm right. Not because I know everything, but just because I know people. It's what I do for a living. I observe it, and I just know again from my own personal experiences. So there you have it, friend. Those are the 3 points. I apologize again that this video, it's just a little off and it's not quite what I normally do, but I told myself I was going to do one, and because I have, made that commitment to you from day one that I'm going to put these videos out every Monday, come hella high water. That's exactly what I am doing. And if you liked anything that I had to say, I would love to know. Comment below, like this video, subscribe to this video, click the notification bell so you always know when I come on. As of right now, I'm releasing a video every single Monday. I have 8 days left to my 55-day challenge. And then once again, beginning on December 12th, I will begin my own version of 12 days of Christmas challenge YouTube shorts. That was a mouthful. Okay, well, I think that's it for me. I'm going to wrap it up. I hear my cats at the door, and so before they just barge on in here, I'm going to bid you a good night. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.